You are my Beckett, my only Beckett. Your farts are smelly. Your breath is bad. But when you're with me, I'm always happy. And you never make me sad. Do you love it when I sing to you? He's like, no comment, Mom. That bad, huh? All right, see ya.
So here's to your resolution. If you want my opinion, I think you stand a better chance than more.
Hi, hello, welcome back. This is The Fourth Star Knits, a knitting podcast. My name is Heather, and I am a middle-aged lady living in Chicagoland with my 3 teenage sons and my boyfriend and our dog Beckett. And I like to knit and ramble on about that and whatever else comes to mind. Books, other things that I can't think of, because also I suffer from a pretty terrible case of brain fog. Brain fog. Yes. I have had a cup of coffee this morning already, but apparently it did nothing. So buckle up, guys. So yeah, how are you guys? How's everything been going? Oh, I should probably tell you where you can find me online. You can find me on Instagram, where I am still pretty terrible at posting, but I really like looking at the things that you guys are doing and commenting on your posts. So you can find me there as The Fourth Star Knits. And if you want to connect with me on Ralvery, where I'm also terrible at keeping things up to date, I am there as The Fourth Star. So I'll put a bar below so that someone can hopefully understand any of what I just said, because that was super clunky. Wow, I'm gonna get a sip of coffee, you guys. I don't have a whole lot to share with you this go around, but I do have a few things, and I have an update from my traumatic experience with my Soldotna crop last week. So, was it last week? Whenever it was I last podcasted. So, stay tuned for that, because I have some information to share with you. So first, did I say I don't have any finished objects? I don't have any finished objects. If you watched my last episode, you know that I have a tendency, as I'm coming down the home stretch of especially a sweater, if I'm really enjoying knitting it, I will just slow down, because I think subconsciously I don't want the project to end. So while I have zero excuses for not finishing my Felix pullover, it's not finished. But I did finish the one sleeve, and I am not changing this pattern at all. Like, normally when I knit sweaters, I tend to do funky things with the sleeves to, like, you know, I don't know. I won't decrease the amount that they want me to, or I'll just make them puffier at the ends, or I do all kinds of weird things. This one, I've just been following it exactly as it's written, and it has been turning out perfect. So I think once this one's off the needles, I'm actually gonna start another one, maybe in a smaller size, so that I have 0 ease, or maybe even a little bit of negative ease, because this one has quite a bit of positive ease. Like, so you can kind of see, like, it's pretty, and it's gonna be good to wear over, like, oh, it's actually gonna go super cute with this shirt. But I kind of wanted it as like an outer layer. I really hate winter coats, and I'm sure this stems from growing up in places like Minnesota and South Dakota, and places where it is freaking cold, and like your mom bundles you up like Ralphie from that Christmas show that I can't remember the name of, because again, I have terrible brain fog. A Christmas Story. Oh my God, who doesn't remember the name of that movie? It's literally on for like hundreds of hours during the Christmas season. I must really be losing it. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so for those of you who grew up in the Midwest or the North Woods or just anywhere where it's really cold, you also remember those days of being a child and like not being able to put your arms down because you're in so many layers of coats and stuff. And like, especially back in the 80s, like the whole like thinsulate stuff, like I don't think it was invented yet, but excuse me, my floor robot is beeping at me. Yeah, so to that end, I try to only wear sweaters as my outer garment. I try to wear warm sweaters because I really hate wearing puffy winter coats. I hate it so much. So yeah, I finished the one sleeve, turned out perfect. I have started the second sleeve, so I only have like, not that much to go. I sort of distracted myself. I joined a knitting group who's only doing, you know, virtual knit nights right now because of Corona. And so I managed to get the second sleeve going and knit on it some while I was distracted by, you know, chatting with the folks in the knitting group. So that seemed to work, but after that, I have really not been able to work on it because every time I think about it, it's just like, oh, I don't know. I enjoy like having it in my lap and like just, I don't know, guys. I have issues. I really do. I did this with my Magnolia sweater hardcore too. There was no reason why I couldn't have finished it in like a month. It was like a bulky weight sweater, and instead I dragged it on for, I don't even know how long. It took forever for no reason. So anyway, that's the Felix pullover. I will have it finished by next podcast. I'm gonna put that out in the world so that I can hold myself accountable. I'm gonna finish it so I can wear it because it's freezing outside. I should be able to wear it. Next up, let's talk about this Soldotna crap and the stuff that went down last podcast because I have some updates for you. So first of all, this is how far I am. So I'm still working on the yoke, and I put this down for a little bit because I was trying to work on that, and I honestly haven't gotten a whole lot of knitting done in the last couple weeks just because, you know, life, it happens. So I think last time we talked, I was here, and so I've gotten all of this color work done, and man, I am super loving this. This gives me like big Minecraft vibes for those of you who have kids or maybe you play Minecraft yourself. Like, isn't this like very Minecrafty, the color palette? Yeah, I'm really, really excited. I'm kind of worried that the shoulders are not going to be quite big enough. I'm hoping this is going to come out in blocking. So we'll see. I'm also kind of worried about the arm openings. So like I have like, okay, middle-aged lady here. So I've got like flabby kind of upper arms. So like things that like sit real tight on my upper arms are not very flattering because it's just like, you know, the whole sausage effect. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure many of you do. It's a thing. So I'm kind of nervous about that, but I don't know. We'll see. I did size 4 when I was knitting this, which was kind of the, like it's the same measurements that I always knit sweaters in. And I am getting like perfect gauge on this. I've checked my gauge several times and it's spot on by some miracle. So yeah, but we'll see. So anyway, here's the update. So last time I was sharing with you that as I was knitting with this gray color, so all these yarns are by Beehive Yarns. And this color here, which is called Cemetery Gates, is this like tonal gray, purpley. I mean, it's just really a cool neutral color. But as I was knitting with it, the dye was coming off onto my hand. So I was very, very nervous about this bleeding everywhere, especially in these sections here where you have, I think this color, this multicolor here is called Tapestry. But I was worried about this bleeding over onto this. So I'm going to insert some footage here because I did take some video of me taking your suggestions and soaking, washing it, and all of that to see what would happen.
I am thinking it's a sign. The freckles in our eyes are mirror images. And when yourself didn't make us into corresponding shapes like puzzle pieces from the clay. True, it may seem a stretch. It's thoughts like this that catch my troubled head when you're away, and I am missing you to death when you're out there on the road for several weeks of shows. And when you scan the radio, I hope this song will guide you home. They will see us waving from such great heights. Come down now, they'll say. Everything looks perfect from far away. Come down now, but we'll stay.
So as you can see, in a perfectly confusing turn of events, after washing with soap, wool soap, and some water, and soaking and wringing it out, it has not, like, there's no real bleeding at all. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this, you guys. I really don't. Just more confusing knitting content from your favorite podcaster. There you go. And as you can see, nothing happened. Nothing at all. It did bleed into the water. I had bought some color catchers, as you guys had suggested, but they hadn't come yet. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna try soaking it with just, and washing it with just some real gentle wool wash first, and just see how bad it was. Because at that point I wasn't that far, you know, and I could just see what happens. And if it destroyed it, then I had enough yarn that I could just start over and try the vinegar baths or some of the other suggestions that came. But honestly, nothing happened. I let it soak, I washed it with soap, and it bled into the water like the normal amount that darker colors sometimes do, like, but it wasn't nearly as much as I thought. Like, I thought the water was going to be black, and it was not. It was barely gray. None of the darker colors transferred onto the lighter colors at all. So that was really good. And I did email, let me pull this up. I did email the dyer just because I wanted to know from her what exactly I should do. And her it's Beth from Beehive Yarns. So this is what she explained to me. She said, when the color comes off on your hands like this, it is called crocking, which is a term I have never heard before. So it's called crocking. It doesn't happen because the dye hasn't fixed properly, but rather because, especially with some darker colors, some of the dye particles loosen as you knit with the yarn. The same thing also happens with new jeans. So, and I liked that analogy a lot, because I mean, I think we've all had that happen. If you wear dark jeans if you've purchased them new and you don't wash them first, like really wash them first, you will find when you take your pants off, first of all, your legs are blue, or if you like rub on your jeans or anything like that, like your hands are gonna come out blue. So that is called crocking. So this is what she suggested. If a yarn crocks like this, then it doesn't mean it will run on your finished project. However, to put your mind at rest, I would suggest that you do go to block it. Give it a short wash only in lukewarm water with a drop of mild washing up liquid, and do not soak it or use a commercial scented wool soap on the first wash. You should use, or you could use, a color catcher sheet too as a precaution. This should remove all the loose dye on the first wash, and from then on you can treat as normal. So I did not do this. I used my normal amount of wool wash, and I did use regular lukewarm water, but yeah. And I think my wool soap is commercial and scented also. So I did not exactly follow her advice, but it came out fine. Hopefully that information is helpful to any of you who are also who also have come across this. But I did actually, in my knitting notebook, I did make note of all of your different suggestions, and especially like how much vinegar to put in a vinegar bath, because I'm sure this is not the last time this is going to happen to me. It's just, that is the update on the Soldotna crop. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. I really need to just spend some time finishing knitting it up and moving on with my life. Oh my gosh, it's only 65 degrees in here. No wonder I'm chilly. So I made a little tiny bit of progress on the Husband's Favorite socks by Twin Stitches. I actually cast on the other one, but I've only got like this much done, so I won't even show it. It's silly. But because again, I'm playing a very dangerous game of yarn chicken with this, so I'm trying to be very careful. But yeah, I really need to get cracking on these. So but this is, I really like this pattern. I saw somebody below thought that oh god, sorry, all the blood's rushing back to my feet. Somebody below had thought that this pattern was maybe too feminine for a man, but I don't really think so. I've seen other kind of pattern socks like this for men with this kind of like broken rib or like a waffle pattern almost, and I think it's okay. You know, I'm knitting these for my friend Brian, and he's seen them and he thought that they looked good, and he's pretty much like one of the manliest men I know. I mean, he's a local 597 pipe fitter, so he's like, you know, tradesman, rides a motorcycle. So yeah, I mean, if you are knitting for somebody who's like way on that end of the masculinity scale, you know, I think you're okay with this pattern. So let's talk about sock needles, shall we? So I think it was 2 episodes ago, I had been asking you all like what your favorite sock needles were, because I'm just like not super happy with these. I think I got these from Knit Picks or Knitter's Pride or whatever, but they're just kind of dull, and it makes it really hard when you're doing, like you're trying to do like pick up stitches from the back or any kind of like more like detailed pattern work, if that makes sense. Like you just, you know, where you gotta like get the needle in there kind of thing. So I had bought, I don't actually know where they are right now. I had bought the Chayu red lace needles, and I love them. Those have definitely been the best. I have not stabbed myself with them yet. I'm sure I will at some point because it's me. But so far so good. They're actually not, they're not as stabby as they look, if that makes sense. I did not like the Yeti Turbos. I did not like them at all. I could see maybe using them for vanilla socks, or if I was gonna do, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of them at all. So they weren't really that much different from these, and these were a lot cheaper, so I don't know what the benefit would be. So I think I'm gonna take this other set of 9-inch circular needles. Now, okay, listen, I'm gonna go on down a rabbit hole for a second here. If you don't watch the Needles at the Ready podcast, you will not get this, but now every time I say 9-inch circular needles, I feel like I need to do like how they do that, like
9-inch circular needles,
like into the microphone. But I literally think of that every single time now that I refer to
9-inch circular needles.
I'm gonna link an episode so that you can see what I'm talking about, so you know that I'm not as crazy as I actually am. This is actually like a legitimate thing. Anyway, that was a lot of rambling. So I have not purchased any new yarn or anything like that. I have plenty of yarn right now to keep me busy. I have 2 sweaters in the wings right now. Yeah, so I haven't purchased any yarn, but I was gifted some yarn, which I will show you. And this is so beautiful. I don't even want to like unwrap it to knit with it because it's so pretty. So this is from, and I think you've heard me talk about her podcast before. This is from November Woods, and she does all natural hand dyeing of wool. And this is like, I can't even tell you like how pretty this color is. Like, it's like it's not gonna show up well on camera because subtle colors never really do, but it's kind of like the color that the sky gets like right after the sun rises, like that warm, peachy, like just real calm, like happy color that the sky becomes. So this is 100% merino wool, fingering 4-ply, organic, non-superwash, 430 yards, botanically dyed. She says to knit socks at 36 to 40 stitches per 4 inches and keep out of the sun, please. I feel you, girl. I gotta keep out of the sun too. It's just not good. So, but anyway, and look at these cute tags. She painted these. This is like watercolor or something. I mean, the packaging is just so cute. So anyway, so she gifted this to me, and I will link her below. You should check out her podcast. I've said this before, but I really like her podcast. But yeah, with love from Alexandra at the November Woods Crafting Podcast. Yeah, I kind of feel like this is just gonna be like a decoration on my table here for a while, just so I can enjoy looking at it until I find something really special to knit with it. I don't know, there's a couple of Helen Stewart sock patterns that I think would be really, really pretty in this. She has some really beautiful lace patterns that are very simple, and I think it would really show this off. So, if you have any suggestions for patterns you think would be perfect for this, let me know. Because, you know, I like it when you guys suggest stuff because I actually look through it and take a lot of your suggestions a lot of times. So, yeah, let me know what you think. But yeah, isn't that pretty? So stoked. So that's all I have for my works in progress. Yeah, it's not a whole lot going on right now as far as like what's on my needles. I'm just trying to finish what I have going on before I continue to cast on more stuff that I'm then going to stress out about not finishing in a timely manner. So to that end, there's a couple of cool things going on in the knitting world right now that I'm excited about, that I wanted to share with you. The Suburban Stitcher, if you don't follow her on Instagram, she is doing a challenge for the month of November to try to finish those sweaters that some of us have sitting around on our needles that we just can't seem to quite finish up. So apparently I'm not the only one with this problem, because there's quite a few posts on this hashtag. So the hashtag is FINSWEMO 2020, and I will put that below so you can see. So if you also want to try to get sweaters off your needles before the end of November, you can participate in that hashtag. It's kind of cool. I don't know if she's doing a giveaway or anything with that, but I don't know. I think sometimes it's just nice to have something to just motivate you to just get stuff done, man. Sometimes the motivation is just not there. So that was kind of cool. The other cool thing that I ran across is a pattern that I'm really excited to try. I haven't purchased it yet, but I started watching this podcast called The Autumn Acorn, and she wrote this sock pattern with this heel that I have not seen before. So I'll insert some photos here so you can see what I'm talking about, but it's like not a real heel. She calls it her magic heel, and she released a sock pattern for it, and I'm really, really eager to try it. So let me know if you have knit a pair of socks like this before, or, I mean, basically it looks like she just uses ribbing to kind of do like a stretchy heel thing. I don't know how that's gonna sit on a lot of people's feet, but I don't know. I'm all about trying new things, you know? I mean, I have my near and dear to me sock patterns that I will never stop knitting, but you know, it's always good to try something new. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, let me know what you think about that. Like, does this seem like a terrible idea? It's just gonna like slide down your foot, or does that seem like, you know, a knitting breakthrough that you just like have to try? I don't know. I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. So I really appreciated all of your comments about holiday traditions for this year. I know a lot of us are going to be struggling in various parts of the world with not being able to see our families or participate in traditions the way we normally do for the holiday season. So a lot of people had really good suggestions of things to do. So I have a separate planner that I use just for Christmas, because typically for us, the Christmas season is extremely busy. The kids are usually in theater productions. I'm usually in a theater production at that time. There's usually, one of the twins is in choir and chorale. My youngest son is in choir. So there's like all these things that are going on. There's the tree lighting ceremony that usually one or more of the kids are singing at, and it just all of these different things that just went away this year. And so I've really been having a hard time like getting into the spirit, because normally by now, we've been rehearsing for Christmas, productions, and there's a lot of preparation that goes into these Christmas events that starts, really in October. And without all of that kind of like lead up, because those events aren't happening, it's just been disorienting. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very disorienting. So there were a lot of really good suggestions of new things that we can do. So a couple of things that I have written down. So for us, there's outdoor like Christmas light shows, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but like the Morton Arboretum, they have like a Christmas light show where you can kind of like walk through. So you're outdoors, you can socially distance. So there's things like that. I know the zoo has kind of like a drive-through Christmas light display. So I thought maybe, making some hot cocoa and popcorn or something like that and just driving through with the kids. They're a little old for that stuff. I mean, the twins are 17 and my youngest is going to be 15 in the first week of December. So, but I don't know, I just feel like we got to do something, But one suggestion that I got was really, really good. It was to record some Christmas carols. Because one of the things that we did a lot of years was we would go Christmas caroling. So one of my sons is in chorale, so they would do like official caroling at like Christmas events, like around the suburb where we live. And but we would also do Christmas caroling with like our community theater group, and that was always such like a precious experience for me. Like I freaking love Christmas carols, okay? I really do. So so we do some Christmas carols, me and the boys, and record it and then send that to my parents, to the kids' family on their dad's side, things like that. So I don't know if I'll be able to, cajole or bribe them into doing that with me, but maybe. But I thought that was such a cute suggestion. It'd probably be a little easier to do this if you had smaller children, to convince them, just record them singing some Christmas carols and send it on to grandparents. But I just thought that was just incredibly cute. So we'll see if I'm able to finagle something with that. So I love also your continued comments about my weird sensory issues. And I'm catching up on comments today because there's some of you that I see your comments. I haven't responded yet, but I want to talk to you. And one person mentioned, do you have HSP? Have you researched that? And so basically there's, it's not a disorder, but there are people out there who are just highly sensitive. So things like crowds, bright lights, loud noises, you just, all of that like sensory information is just especially loud to you. And I feel like that describes me perfectly. Like I have a really hard time being in crowds for a long time. I really don't like a lot of noise. I like things to be quiet. When there's like a lot of activity around, like I do okay with it for a while, but it's like, it's not my preference. It like saps a lot of energy from me to be around that. But but I was doing some research and listening to some TED Talks, and it's actually like a biological thing. It's a gene that you have that makes you more sensitive to certain things. And so that can also manifest in weird things like touching certain kinds of paper, or like the sound of like styrofoam, or there'll be little things that just like trigger you. And it, like I said, it's not necessarily a disorder, it's just you're highly sensitive, and so you might have some weird sensory triggers, which I do. So, but I was watching a couple of TED Talks, and I also realized that, like, even though this sometimes makes it a little difficult to operate in certain situations, it also is what makes me so in love with dealing with different kinds of textures and handling yarn. And like my experience with that is so incredibly potent because I am so freaking sensitive. Yeah, and I was thinking back to when I was a little girl. So I'm the oldest of 7 kids. It was me, and then my mom had 5 boys, and then my youngest sister didn't come along until I was a freshman in college. So I basically grew up for a really long time as the only girl. And so, of course, my mom wanted to put me in all of these frilly dresses. And for all of you who survived the late 80s and early 90s, you know that dresses had these like big wide lacy collars and were like very restricting. And oh my goodness, did I just hate that crap. Oh my, I would just cry. I didn't want anything to do with it. My favorite outfit was a pair of like really soft stretch pants and this ginormous maroon sweatshirt with a quilted mallard duck on the front. If I can find a picture of this somewhere, I will put it in here because it was just the most ridiculous outfit ever. Nothing matched. I wore the same pair of stretch pants from the time I was 6 until I was probably 11. Ridiculous. But it was because it was soft and it was not constricting, and but all of these like frilly dresses and stuff, I couldn't stand them. Like I vividly remember this like beautiful like fake red velvet Christmas dress with like this big panel and this rose on the front, and it was beautiful, but I would just feel like death wearing it. And like I just couldn't handle it. But yeah, basically because I'm just highly sensitive. And so you just sometimes like textures and things like that, you just can't stop feeling them, or they just give you like the heebie-jeebies, you know, and that's not how everybody experiences the world. So I guess like 20 to 25% of the population is like me, where they're just really sensitive. And then of course that manifests itself into all kinds of other things. So, yeah, but I was thinking about that quite a bit and researching a little bit about it. My family has a history of some weird kind of like sensory things. Like, my brother has, I always say this wrong, synesthesia, which is basically where like your senses, like the wires in your brain are kind of like crossed over. So like for Steve, he can taste music. So like certain songs will elicit like a taste in his mouth. I remember him telling me once, I can't remember if it was like a Green Day song or a Blink-182 song, but it makes him feel like he's just vomited in his mouth. Like he gets the taste of vomit in his mouth, which is crazy. But there are other songs that give him like different tastes. So I forget what that's called, luxual gustatory synesthesia. I'll put it below. It's really interesting. But so yeah, so basically like some of my other siblings have some weird sensory issues too. So I'm in good company, I guess. But yeah, I really appreciate all your comments about that and hypothyroidism and like all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like I've found like this happy little community of people who understand that like I'm just, you know, it's not that I'm quirky. I am quirky, but it's more than that. There's like genetic, medical, science-based reasons that I'm like this. And so I really, for all of you in that community, I give you a big virtual hug because I'm really happy that we're all here together. So there's that. yeah, there's just been a lot of like life stuff going on. So like, I don't know. So one of my children has some issues, which I won't get into because, you know, I want to respect his privacy. But man, all of you mamas out there who have kids with issues or special needs, I see you right now. Oh my goodness, I see you. It is just, it's one of those things where the issues are not, they're not like steady. It's like one of those things where it just kind of like, you know, kind of like comes out of left field and just like knocks you on your butt, which is exhausting. It's so exhausting. So like, man, the kids went to their dad's this weekend and I slept in this morning until like 10 a.m. because I was just exhausted from this week. Because man, my poor kid is just having a time. And, you know, it's just, especially right now with the way the world is, it's kind of hard to get in and get appointments and see the people that you need to see and get the, you know, just get things done, you know, because you just don't necessarily want to, you know, go into medical facilities sometimes when, you know, it's like you're trying to balance, like, is it, can we just like kind of ride this out, or do we go in, or what do we do, you know, because like, do you really want to expose, you know, your whole family on top of like your kid already having it? It's just like, it's a thing. So, but yeah, just the mental exhaustion of like trying to like deal with all of that is a lot. So man, for all of you other mamas and dads dealing with that kind of stuff, I feel you right now. Try to take care of yourselves a little bit if you can. I know sometimes it's not possible, and I'm really, really, really lucky. It feels weird to say that I'm lucky to be divorced, but I will say that sometimes it is really nice that there are two households to take care of these children, because man, sometimes I just need a break, and it's nice that they have another home to go to where they're loved and taken care of, and I don't have to worry. I know that they're good there, and I can sleep in until 10. That is, man, back when I was married, like being able to sleep in until 10 on a Saturday was like a dream I never thought would be able to come true. So not that I'm advocating for divorce. I don't want anyone to think that divorce is terrible, but there was a silver lining, and that was it, because otherwise I would probably never get a break. And so for those parents out there who don't get breaks, I don't know how you do it. You are superhuman, and I see you. So something else I've been thinking about, because this popped up. So first of all, I hit 2,000 subscribers. I keep saying we. I guess I say we a lot because honestly, yeah, Beckett is sitting right here, and he contributes to the podcast by, you know, just sitting over here and being cute. So Beckett and I have hit 2,000 followers, and crazy, absolutely crazy. I can't believe that there are 2,000 of you all who come here to watch this here podcast. But anyway, thank you. Super stoked about that. But the other thing that happened, and this happened a couple episodes ago, is I got the email from YouTube that I can now monetize my channel. And monetize is such a weird and loaded word, and I honestly don't know how I feel about that. And this is not to throw shade on any podcasters who do monetize their channel. I personally don't mind at all when I have to click through ads or watch an ad to get to content that I really love. Like, I understand how that works, and it doesn't bother me at all. I just don't know if that's the right fit for me. So I've been thinking about how I want to approach that, because there is something to be said about having a little pool of money. There's something to be said about having a little pool of money or budget for things like giveaways and paying for shipping, to be able to maybe upgrade equipment a little bit. There's something to be said for that, because then it helps you, you know, do fun giveaways, or, you know, have better quality recording and things like that. So there's something to be said for that. How I want to approach that, I don't really know. I know there are some podcasters who have Patreons, and I thought about looking into that, although I'm loath to try to manage one more platform of anything. Like, there's just all the things, and too much social media, just like, instead of me enjoying it, it just starts to like suck energy out of me. So I have to balance that. The other thing I could do is start a coffee account. So basically you would be able to like throw a few bucks at me, like to buy me a virtual coffee. And then that money could go toward, giveaways and things like that. So I haven't quite decided yet what the right format is going to be for me. But I would like to keep doing like regular giveaways and things like that. And like, while I don't mind like donating from my own stash, because Lord knows I have enough extra yarn laying around, but it would be fun to like shop, or like while I'm shopping, like pick out something that is going to be given away to one of you all. So, yeah, and it'd just be nice to have like a little budget for that. So I don't know. It's something I'm thinking about. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that out and chat about it a little bit, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I have been pretty transparent about that from the beginning. I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, that's really all I had to say about that. I've been continuing to read the Outlander series. I'm sticking with it, the steamy bits and all. And I don't know, I think I probably have like 6 hours left of listening. I really like listening to audiobooks while I'm knitting. I feel like it's just really cozy to have somebody read you a story while you're knitting. So I'm really, really liking that. I am watching, honestly, I really haven't been watching too much. We've been kind of watching Schitt's Creek here and there just for something lighthearted. I am holding off on watching any Christmas movies until after Thanksgiving, because I feel like I need that to look forward to, because again, there's not a lot of our normal holiday traditions that we're going to be able to do. So I'm holding off on that. My boyfriend stocked us up on firewood so we can do a roaring fire and Christmas movies and the whole thing. Like, I lost some eyelashes with that sneeze. Oh my goodness. Oh, my toes are asleep. I've been watching a little bit of Schitt's Creek, and we finished watching The Queen's Gambit, which was really good. I liked that quite a bit. I really love the fashion from that time. It reminds me a lot of my dad's mom. Like, my dad's mom was quite the fashionista, and that was like her time period also, when she was in her heyday, and she was quite the babe. But yeah, so a lot of the outfits I was watching, I was thinking, oh my God, my Grandma May would have loved this outfit. I just kept thinking that over and over and over again the whole time I was watching it. But yeah, I really haven't had time to watch too much TV. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I'm gonna catch up on some podcasts today. I'm really, really, really behind on, and a lot of like my favorite podcasters are like, they've released like 2 or 3 episodes, and I'm just like, I haven't had time to watch them. So I'm hoping I can do that a little bit today. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving here in the good old US of A. This will be the first time in 10 years that I've had to make a turkey, because normally like we go to my mom's house and either my mom makes the turkey, or my brother Jack, when he was alive, he made the turkey. He would often deep fry turkeys. We're a big family, so sometimes there were 2 turkeys. And then yeah, like all my brothers would bring, different sides, and then my mom had like her staples that she would make every year, and that's just how we've done it for forever. And so this year I'm gonna have to make everything. So I've been spending an inordinate amount of time on Pinterest trying to figure out like what turkey recipe I want to use, because here's the thing. I'm loath to try to recreate my mom's recipes because I feel like that's just gonna make me really, really miss her and my dad and, you know, everybody on Thanksgiving, like, even more. So I kind of want to do something that like she would not do, just so it feels different. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I don't want to try to like recreate like my mom's Thanksgiving without her being there. It just feels weird to do that, I guess. I don't know. So I've been going around and like asking like everybody like, okay, what is like the dish that you have to make it feel like Thanksgiving? I've been asking like my kids' friends, you know, my son's girlfriends, like, you know, what are the dishes? I've just been getting like the craziest answers. It's like so much fun. But I think I finally have a menu sort of planned. And so I need to put together my shopping list and try to, I should probably try to get out and get most of that done before anything else gets shut down right now, because it's just, it's coming. We're on a stay-at-home advisory already in the city of Chicago. We were supposed to be shut down here in my suburb, but our mayor decided that he was going to just tell the governor to, you know, go pound sand, and is not enforcing like any of the, you know, because the restaurants are supposed to be shut down right now and all this other stuff, and he's just like, yep, nope, not here, we're not doing that. So it just creates so much tension out in the world. I wish everybody could just somehow get on the same page with the path forward, and I know that that's so difficult, and there's so many different opinions, and the right way is not black and white, and it's really difficult to find. But the conflict and tension that surrounds all of that, trying to figure out the path forward, just eats away at me. It is making me exhausted and frustrated, and I just hate it so much. Again, just like highly sensitive person, big Pisces energy. I just feel all the things. And it's so exhausting. But yeah, so anyway, where was I going with that? So I'm assuming at some point somebody is gonna, you know, force us to really, really shut down, because it is getting like pretty ugly out here. So yeah. So basically I need to get to the grocery store and get all of our Thanksgiving fixins in the house so that I'm good to go. When is Thanksgiving? Is it next week? No. Oh God. It's not this week, is it? No, it's next week. Hold on. Oh my God. You know, for all the planning that I do and like all of the, you know, it's just sometimes I feel like I just get so ingrained in like what I need to do today. Like I just forget, you know, to look into the future on stuff, which is not good. I guess there's other people who have a hard time like living in the present, and I don't have that problem. I am very much in the present all the time, so much so that sometimes I forget where I am and what I'm doing. Okay, so it is not this Thursday, it is next Thursday. Oh, thank the Lord. Because oh my gosh, I'm so not ready. So what are you guys all doing for Thanksgiving this year? Are you cooking at home? Are you, and this is of course for those of you in America, although for those of you not in America, if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I encourage you to try making a turkey and some mashed potatoes and some good gravy and stuffing and maybe some cranberry sauce and some sweet potatoes. Anyway, just because it's freaking delicious. It's just a really good like mix of food. Like the best thing about Thanksgiving to me is when you like get the ratios of the sides on your plate just right. So, you know, like turkey goes here, and then the mashed potatoes, and then the corn, and then you make sure you drizzle the gravy over all of that, and then you make sure that your like cranberry, whatever it is, whether you do the canned slices or whatever, that goes on the other side of the turkey, but don't get the gravy on the cranberry because that's weird. But you want to be able to get those bites of the cranberry and the turkey together. Then there's always some kind of bread roll, and that is your buffer. So you put that in the middle to keep the gravy wave over on this side of your plate. Then you can fill in with your green beans and your sweet potatoes and your stuffing. Stuffing is also a good buffer. You can almost do the stuffing like in the middle as well, and then put the roll kind of like as a, you know, like use the stuffing as like a dam and then like buttress it with the roll, you know? The architecture of your Thanksgiving plate is very important. So, just saying. I'm literally drooling right now thinking about all this food. I need to eat some lunch, you guys. I'm so hungry. I haven't had anything to eat today, just coffee, so it's making me loopy, and now I'm starving. So I'm gonna wrap this up and stop rambling. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending this time with me. I hope you are all doing well and staying warm and finding time to knit and take care of yourself. Keep yourself safe and healthy and all that good stuff. So yeah, I will catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye for now. Whoa. These eyelashes. Just gonna pet them the entire podcast.
Oh.